Plan Commission is the extent of the use that this applicant is proposing. I said that at the very beginning.
So it doesn't matter when everybody in Riverwoods who's paying $34,000 and $36,000 a year in taxes and doing everything, and that letter was absolutely beautiful. I could have written that. That's my life story. I thought it was just perfect and poignant and beautiful. But it doesn't matter, because you're just saying it has nothing to do with the vote. It has to do with legality or whatever is there. So why are we here? Hey, guys, it means nothing.
Okay, Philly.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Okay, I'm-
Thank you.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
So I'm going to ask everybody if they could try to keep your comments just a little shorter so everybody has an opportunity to speak with everybody still here.
But we had to listen to their presentation and everyone on the board.
Go ahead.
Here.
Okay, Susie Davis. I will try to be brief. I know a lot of this was covered before. I'm the aforementioned Gord Cormos, who lives right next door to you, Kathy's in Kent. So I'm sorry, I'm just going to have to read it. It'll be faster than me trying to pick through what has already been said or not. And then I have just a couple comments at the end, and then I'll be fine. So this is for my father. My name is Gord Cormus. I own and reside at 2440 Duffy Lane. I'm the closest neighbor to 2470, and I would be the one most affected by this application and waiver. The application letter quotes, "Such residents must be over 55 years of age and require assistance when performing activities of daily living." This description actually, to me, describes a nursing home. Somebody who doesn't need help with their activities can stay home. The letter also states the residents will not drive, have no automobiles. Well, obviously, someone who cannot take care of themselves cannot drive. Again, this tells me that this will be a nursing home. I've been informed that some person has been going around the neighborhood and glorifying this plan and asking people not to oppose this. According to this person, they will add 1,000 square feet to this home. They're going to create a beautiful garden around it. They will have a very fancy and exclusive place, and it will be an asset to Riverwoods. They would be charging as much as $10,000 a month. Anybody who does not need full-time care would never pay this kind of money just to be entertained. This is nothing but a money grab. This would be a very lucrative business which would not benefit Riverwoods and its residents in any way. I've been living here almost 40 years and have had Mr. Eichhorn as my neighbor and friend all that time. He was a very good neighbor and friend to me. The last couple of years, his health started to deteriorate. He spent time in the hospitals and also spent time in nursing homes because unfortunately Medicare only allows so many days in a nursing home, and after that you have to find another place to go. Sometimes it would bring him home, and he had a full-time caretaker. While he was home, the paramedics were called 3 or 4 times a week. They came with that big paramedic truck with the fire truck behind them with their diesel engines running, shaking our windows. Our bedroom windows are approximately 18 feet from Mr. Eichhorn's driveway. Somehow these episodes mostly happen at night, so the paramedics would sometimes come at 11, sometimes at 3. They would stay there for half an hour to an hour, leave. Now this is one person who needed so much. Multiply this by possibly 13 or more people that want to bring into this home. How many times will the paramedics have to come over there? How will that affect our lives? We didn't mind when Norman needed help. He was our friend. But if you approve this application and waiver and a bunch of strangers are over there disrupting our lives, we're not going to be very happy about that, and neither will all the neighbors around us. Now, obviously, with this kind of activity, it's going to also decrease all of our property values. Then he goes on to state about putting people into nursing homes, how out of necessity they, when the husband puts his wife in, or vice versa. A lot of people feel guilty. It's a heartbreaking decision, very much needed. He went through it himself with his wife's mom. He was 79 and his wife was 70 when it happened, and when she needed that kind of help, they were not able to take care of her. They felt very guilty, and they tried placating this. They went sometimes 2 times a day to visit. So again, now all of these people, because of their guilt trips, will try to come twice a day or every day to see their loved ones. So even though the residents of this home will not be driving, there will be a lot of traffic going in and out from family and friends visiting, doctors, nurses, paramedics, fire trucks, and employees coming and going, again, will disrupt our lives. He says, I have one question for the members of this plan commission. If someone had made this proposal for a property next to your home, how would you feel? What would your answer be, knowing what I described is going to happen to you? He also went on to say, now we went on the internet to Google the applicant, Engaged Senior Homes LLC. We could find nothing on them except for in 2018 they applied for the same thing in Northbrook. written in the Northbrook Star that Engaged Senior Homes LLC approached Northbrook to build this home but wanted the number to be 16, which Northbrook frowned upon. I think you guys all know this already. There's also nothing on the internet about this Engaged Senior Homes, so they have no record of having any experience in running a place like this. This is a big point against them. So for all these reasons, I'm asking the commission, no, I'm begging you to please deny this. A place like this does not belong in a wonderful residential area like ours. It's just about a money grab. This would be a very, very lucrative business, and believe me, it's just a business. I would like to thank you for listening to me and hope you will listen to us and deny this application sincerely before foremost. He apologizes, he's in Arizona taking care of his own medical issues.
I was the contact.
Yeah, so I just have one question for you, or actually two, but one. With all the other properties in the area, and you had mentioned it would not be economically feasible for many reasons, why did you choose Riverwoods? And specifically, why did you choose this particular lot?
You know, what we'd like to do is have a ranch home, so there aren't a lot of ranches. And
There's a bunch in Grays Lake. The property, I mean, it's a very expensive community is what I'm saying. If you're looking at property cost, Riverwoods is a very expensive place to buy. So why would you not buy a home for, say, $200,000 in Grays Lake? Why would you spend $600,000 on a house right in Riverwoods with enormous property taxes?
well, you know, to buy a comparable home, we've looked at homes in Grace Lake, there's homes all over the area. When you have a larger lot and a ranch, and they're all about the same price. They're not substantial. I mean, a very small little ranch would be expensive, but that wouldn't be suitable.
Right.
And the selection is few, to be honest. We've gone through the entire area. It's not, we haven't put our crosshairs on the Riverwoods. One, it's a beautiful community, and two, it came down.
But your residents are going to be inside their, like, they're not going to be, you know, out in the
Deerfield, right next door.
Yeah, probably, like Villa has lots of big properties and bigger homes. and-
Right, and if one had showed
Okay.
up at the right
The other
time.
question I had, and
Okay, go
then
ahead.
was, shoot, now I forgot.
Yeah.
Oh, you had mentioned that these, you know, I'm 58 and I have some disabilities. I certainly don't need to live in a home. I don't need assistance yet, but, and I do commend you guys, honestly. I know it's a much needed industry. So I'm not condemning any of that or what needs to be done. It's just the location. But, you mentioned that they won't need medical care and yet they need assistance. So what type of assistance, and somebody who cannot drive, somebody who literally has to have assistance on a daily basis, but doesn't need medical care, exactly what type of assistance is that?
So the state mandates that. and-
Please, Mr.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The question is, what is the condition of these residents going to be? So it'll be the same condition as someone who lives in all the assisted living communities that you know of, the bigger ones like North Shore Place. The state mandates that these folks need assistance with their daily living. So they need help with ambulation, right? Walking safely and not falling, getting in and out of bed, getting in and out of a chair. They need help with dressing, bathing. Now, they all won't need all that help, but that's what an assisted living community does. They help people with assistance in daily living. It's very specific.
Who's going to do
Thank
that? What are the qualifications of the people
Excuse
who
me.
are going to assist?
Dr. Guys, you had your turn. We were very patient with you, so I'm just asking so we can move on and get everybody an opportunity. Thanks. And go ahead. Go ahead.
My name is Renee Wishner, and I live on Julie Lane. And I live very close to the house. And I had no notification. In fact, I just came home this past week from Florida, and we received a note from the neighbor in the mailbox, and that's how I found out. And there are over 2,000 people, I believe, that live in Riverwoods. And a lot of people are not home. They are away. They are in Florida, they are in Palm Beach, Palm Springs, they are in Europe, who knows where they are. They are not home now. So it seems, it's kind of odd that you would have this meeting now and vote on it now when you do not have all the people of Riverwoods here to know what's going on. I lived in Deerfield. I mean, not everything's going to be connected here because I don't have anything written, but we raised our family in Deerfield. I moved to Riverwoods 14 years ago. If you have wetlands on your property, you cannot remove them, even if they're in the front of your house. You cannot remove those wetlands or weeds that are in those little wetlands. God forbid you do that, you have to pay a tremendous. I have a neighbor who paid over $50,000 for removing wetlands. I had a brand new house built across the street from me. That they have weeds growing everywhere. They can't remove the wetlands because of some your head engineer or whoever it is working for the village.
It's a
But
state,
yet-
it's a state law.
But yet you can have a business in a private village of homes. Why did you choose not to go on Deerfield Road? Or there's plenty of places that have a lot of land. Plenty of places that go out of business. Okay, and here we go. I pay almost $20,000 in taxes. I have $1 million home that has not been over $1 million, that did not regain yet from the crash, and now it won't. For sure it won't. I pay those taxes so that we have, mostly we focus on the police department and the fire and ambulance department and the schools. And this summer I had a life-threatening pulmonary embolism, and they were in my house within 2 minutes. That won't happen again. They saved my life. That will not happen again. And my mother lived in a home off of Deerfield Road. She had Lewy body disease, which is something that Robin Williams, that's what Robin Williams, the actor, died of. That is a combination of Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. And they don't identify, he kept on saying through his whole presentation that these people can do their regular daily activities. Well, if they can do the regular daily activities, she just mentioned all the things they can't do. And if they can't do that, I know from the experience of my mother, who I saw every day, almost every day when she was in Chicago, and daily when we moved her out to Deerfield. And when she was in my home, before she got even worse, before her, how this aggressive disease destroyed her, she needed a caregiver. And you can't tell me that these 13 people are going to have 2 caregivers, and that's enough for 13 people. It is not enough for 13 people. And if you disagree, then you weren't that observant or that involved with your mother or father who suffered having some dementia or disabilities with age. And at night, to have one caregiver, it just doesn't make sense. And who lives on Duffy? Do you live 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 on Duffy? And why are you an attorney for the village of Riverwoods? I don't know you. I've never seen a presentation from you before. But it seems You're supposed to find every which way as an attorney to fight for your village. And you are not doing that. Every which, I don't know anything about the law, but a good attorney tries every which way to fight for their village. And it appears to me, my impression of it, I was so upset tonight interrupting because I got no notice of this. No notice at all, and it's so unfair. But it seems to me, well, I'm going to ask a quick question. Why quick? This is going to destroy a certain area of Riverwoods. The monthly or bi-monthly newsletter of nature and the animals, and I don't know what you're doing. I just don't understand why you're doing this.
By the way, I have to say,
Well,
that house is in a.
You don't live on Duffy. None of you live on Duffy. None of you live around the corner from Duffy. I take Duffy all the time. It's a country street.
I know.
Sometimes there's no traffic. Sometimes there's a decent amount of traffic.
It's a flood zone.
But it's a house. It's a house next door to another house. It doesn't make sense at all. And you're going to have people come to hear an estimate from you that maybe there'll be 2 or 3 cars of visitors coming. That's nonsense. You have no idea how many people are going to come, realistically, are going to come every day to see their family or their friends. No one knows. And then all the people that don't live in Riverwoods. Who are all these people who are going to come in and now learn about this wonderful village of Riverwoods? Who are these people?
Where are they gonna
Some of
park?
these delivery people and criminal background checks and the staff. Who are these people? You know, I'm trying to remember. I had a very good example. I can't recall it now. But I'm fearful that more crime will come into Riverwoods because Riverwoods will be known. It'll be more well known now. And there was a robbery in my house the first year I moved in. But I fear that there will definitely be more crime because we don't know who's coming in. We just don't know.
well, thank you very much for your input.
Well, it seems like you're not listening to anything I've said. It's really, really disappointing that you folks represent us. I don't understand. Do you people understand why they're doing this?
I have to say
I hate to say this.
That house
Something
that
you're
they're
getting
doing
from these
is in
people
a
that you
flood
don't
zone.
understand it.
Okay.
Does that make a difference that they want to build something in a flood zone? I know, I live next door. Mine is not a flood zone.
Any housing issues and building issues
It's a
will
flood
apply to
zone.
them as much as it would apply to anybody else.
But they're building this whole big thing for people to go in. Why would they build it in a flood zone? Doesn't that make a difference? It means something?
As I said, I'm not the village engineer, but all plans will be reviewed and they'll get no special.
Why would they want to build a house in a flood zone?
Okay, I can't speak for them. Okay,
It's a
thank
flood
you.
zone.
Thank
You
you.
should be ashamed of yourself.
Thank you.
You're not, don't fake me. You're not representing this village. You're not representing the people of Riverwood.
It's a flood zone. What is this on?
My name's Jody Figura, and I live on Glendining, right around the corner. So my question is, if it's the law and they have to come in, what then stops other businesses from popping up down the street, or 5 more of these can come in and overtake our community, which we are paying very high taxes for? And you had mentioned you didn't want to put a fence up. I don't know if you know, but you can't put a fence up. I want to put a fence up, and if you go up and down the street, there are not fences because they are not allowed. So if a fence isn't allowed, why is something like this allowed? And once you open the floodgates to this, so many other businesses are going to try this. So it won't be able to be stopped.
They'll try it. They'll open 5 more. Once they got in there.
And they're going after the baby boom.
So the recommendation that comes out of the planning commission and then goes to the board is on a zoning request. Even if someone is approved from a zoning standpoint, it doesn't mean they're approved from a building permit standpoint. So we have people all the time, applicants who get a certain kind of zoning or special use, they still have to submit plans. Is it possible that they would have gotten the zoning relief that they were looking for, but then can't build out all their plans because of issues like wetlands or floodplain? It's possible. That's their problem.
Right, I get that, but I'm saying,
So,
if this is profitable,
right,
then this company or another company who then sees this as profitable
right.
could start buying up all the houses in River Woods to do this, and then once you say yes to them, you can't then go say no to the other 5 or 10 businesses that want to open an elderly care facility.
So,
Why this needs to be a regulation, not by exception, not by case by case.
the courts don't look at it that way. A number of towns tried to say that group homes could only be within so many feet of each other. They tried to limit every 1,500 feet, every 1,000 feet. And the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals has very recently told the city of Springfield that they violated the law with their ordinance, which tried to limit how close homes could be together. Most of the villages around here still have some kind of spacing requirement, but most of them they probably know are invalid. And again, there is a comment from the U.S. Department of Justice which put out some guidance on how it wants to see these regulations interpreted. And it said, we're not saying that there is never a point at which there is over-concentration. There may well be a point, and of course the courts didn't define that yet, at which the character of the neighborhood really changes. But in a couple of decisions that I've been studying, the courts were very hostile to towns which said, well, if we let one in, then there'll be 5 more. The court said, no, deal with each one on a case-by-case basis. Look at the standards, evaluate the standards. If they meet the standards, then, exercise your zoning power appropriately. When the next one comes in, it'll be a different set of conditions, and you'll have the same review as you did on the first one. So we have this comment all the time: if we approve one thing, aren't we bound to approve another? No, we're bound to apply the standards that we can apply in each individual case.
Okay, so then my last question is, if most of the people in our village, and again, no one knew about this or everyone would be here, I also did not receive anything, and I know it's not the 300 feet away, but as a courtesy of taxpayers, and we're not in a huge community, everyone should have received a letter. And to Renee's point, most people are out of town, so it's just weird it is at this exact moment. If we all said no, we don't want it, and you then, since you are our elected officials, said no, and we got sued, how much would it be for? Maybe everyone would want to buy that and pay it up. I mean, we don't even know, you're just saying we're gonna get sued, but what's that mean, for $5,000, $20 million? I mean, what is
I
it?
have a sense about the law that's a higher calling than that. Our job is to try and do the right thing and comply with the law, not to figure out what it would cost us to evade it. I would never want to advise the village that this is what you can get away with if you don't follow the law.
Right, but if those things everything they have to say, then we should know all of our stuff too. It just feels like from the moment you came in here, and I don't mean to be picking on you, and I know you're an attorney and you're just trying to do what's right, but you should be neutral, and you don't sound neutral at all. From the second you walked in here, you're on your side. And you should kind of maybe just not say anything, since we're not even have a choice, and then go for it. It's just, I don't know.
I suspect many people did not appreciate, at least I didn't, the extent to which federal law determines how we should be applying these standards, and I thought it would be helpful for everyone to have that as a starting point. I certainly wanted the planning commission to have that as a starting point because I want them to be able to apply the law to the best of their ability.
Well, why are we here? We don't have a voice.
Okay,
Why are we here? Tell me why we, just answer, why are we here? We don't have a voice, we don't have a vote, we have nothing. So do it behind our backs. Why are we here? Let me know.
well, I think think the reason you are here, you're making a very good example of, and that is you're speaking your mind. And that's fine, that's what this is for. So please
Speak
understand.
my mind, to have that next door to my house. I don't need to speak my mind. I want to have a vote. I want to have a reason to be here. I want the majority. We live in a democracy. It should be the majority of
Okay,
people
we
here.
just, okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I know.
Hi, my name is Ellen McKnight. I live a few doors away from the property in concern on Duffy Lane. I just want to, raise things that weren't specifically raised. I'm not going to recover. Obviously, some of the reasons that the law is going the way it is because a senior group home is seen as analogous to a single-family dwelling. There's a line, for instance, Brentwood wouldn't be able to take over private residences and put up a huge nursing home, right? There's a line. So I think it's where you draw the line. I do think 13 to me seems excessive. I think it's unreasonable. I think it is very concerning on some of the issues that have been touched on already, but one that I just want to raise in particular for Duffy Lane. So I think the company does not have the experience I would like to see of doing a senior group home to be able to make predictions. So, we have to take it as it is. But saying my father had dementia and was in assisted living, and I can tell you that we were responsible for 2 to 3 cars every day. And he was in a place that had parking, so that was all right. I don't think that saying there'll be cars for 2 staff members and a visitor is enough